So yeah, in terms of the issues that sports psychologists face in elite sport, I think more and more there are now kind of issues around the clinical and mental health um, side of things. And as I said, if you're trained, you probably are able to deal with it yourself. If you're not trained, what sports psychologists will often do is will refer those individuals to more appropriately trained people. So it could be a clinical psychologist. It could be a psychotherapist, so it could be a variety of different individuals. But certainly in elite sport, mental health issues, things like depression, really major anxiety seems to be a bit of an issue now. Another really interesting thing that I think psychologists are facing in elite sport is transitions, career transitions, and how do athletes deal with the fact that, let's say they get injured and they're out for a long period of time, particularly career-threatening injuries. How is an athlete going to react to the fact that he was going to be a professional footballer and now suddenly he's not? So a lot of the psychologists' work will be about helping individuals manage those transitions better so that when they go into a work environment, they're able to transition quite smoothly. One overarching issue, actually, I think that sports psychologists face is the stigma that's associated with being a psychologist. So often when an athlete or even a coach goes to a psychologist, people will think, oh, there's something wrong with that person. And that's particularly in elite sport, where you're kind of expected to just get on with it. I think there's a massive stigma attached to that. It's becoming better. Sports psychology is now becoming more accepted, and most clubs, most coaches will often have a sports psychologist working with them. But I think certainly in elite sport that's an issue, because it means that players don't feel as safe. Or, I saw a headline recently where it said that a particular athlete saw a psychologist, and I often kind of give the example: you would never ever see a headline saying that this athlete saw a nutritionist or saw a physiotherapist. It's always a psychologist that seems to be in the headlines. So I think certainly in elite sports, stigma seems to be an issue.